Helps if I mute. Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark. Today I want to talk about your musical DNA. So there's something about the music you listen to growing up imprinting into your taste, your musical DNA. And what I want to talk about is my first kiss. Not that kind of kiss. So the band, that was my first band. I think I was 5 or 6 at the time. And I went to a friend of mine's house, and he had Kiss Alive. I think he had the other albums too, but the first thing he played for me was Kiss Alive. And I remember hearing that, and most importantly was Cold Gin. That's the song that really stuck out in my head. And he didn't show me them until after the fact. And so it was the music that grabbed me first, and then it was the image that was second. I always had music in the house. My parents played music, my mom. They were always very open and accepting of my music and what, my brothers and my sisters listen to. We were always very free to listen to what we want, make our own decisions about what we listen to. And once I heard Kiss, it was something that was mine. It was a music that only I listened to. I remember my parents buying me albums, posters. My walls were covered with posters, Kiss posters. Ace Frehley was the biggest thing I had to, as far as looking up to. I never put musicians or artists, athletes, I never really tried to put anybody on a pedestal. We're all human. Some of us are just on a different path than others. So that being said, I always gravitated towards Ace. Even at a young age, I could pick the songs out that he wrote. I knew Parasite, Cold Gin, Strange Ways. I knew the songs that were his that he didn't sing yet. I knew they were his. So I really connected with that part of the music. And then when his solo album came out, I live and breathe that solo album. That was, I think I wore one out. I had to get another one. I would listen to that thing front to back, nonstop. It was just an amazing record to me, especially the back half, Wiped Out and Fractured Mirror, the last 2 songs. Just incredible. And I realized that has left an imprint on my musical taste. I float back and forth between heavy music and light music. I love all kinds of music. It just depends on my mood. But that being said, Kiss has always been there. I followed them up until 82 was kind of the last I think I listened to them. I listened to them through Creatures, but I didn't really get into Creatures of the Night. Unmasked was kind of the last album. Dynasty and Unmasked, the 2 leading up to Ace leaving and Peter really not being in the band, were two of my favorite albums because they had 3 Ace songs on them each. And Ace always sounded like Ace. You could tell his songs on there. He has a very unique voice. Like I said, I always gravitated towards Ace. I kind of lost interest in them around Creatures. They kind of went in a direction that I really wasn't following anymore because I kind of knew that Ace wasn't in the band, so I really didn't pay much attention. And I really got into bands like Iron Maiden and some of the heavier stuff, and that's kind of when I really started to branch out and listen to a little bit more heavier music, I guess, where you would call it metal. And if, listening back now, Kiss was definitely more hard rock, maybe metal in their time, but they were very straight ahead music. And I tended to kind of weave in and out of going to basic rock, very understandable, to technical. You have to really pay attention. It's a different kind of music. It's a different kind of vibe. I always kind of take this path with music, and Kiss was the start of it. I always wanted to be able to see them in makeup, and I did. I got to witness the reunion tour on 2 occasions, 2 different shows. It was cool, and it was awesome to be able to see them, but there was something different about it. It wasn't the same band. Even though it was the 4 original members with their original makeup and the Love Gun costumes, there was something different. The mystique was gone. The larger-than-life personas were kind of gone. 1, because I was much older. 2, because everybody knew what they looked like. Kiss had this really cool thing going on in the 70s where nobody knew who they were. That's kind of hard to do in today's world. Look at Slipknot, just trying to keep new members' identities hidden because they wanted it. You want something special. You want some mystique about these people. I don't need to know everything they're doing. The way new media is, you kind of know what everybody's doing. And it took some of that away from Kiss for me. I got to see them a couple times without makeup. They were good, but they just weren't the band. I won't go see them now. I can respect them doing what they're doing. I respect their choice, but it's not the same band up there on stage. People can argue with me all you want, and that's fine. Go enjoy them, spend your money, see them. I saw them, and I can honestly say there's a little bit of that magic is gone, a little bit of the spark that made Kiss what they were. I will forever hold them near and dear to my heart. I have an Ace tattoo. I'm proud to say that I'm a Kiss fan. I know where they hold a place in my life, especially as a musician. But sometimes you just have to learn to let go and let them be. God bless Tommy and Eric for getting up there and doing what they're doing and carrying the torch. But to me, Kiss has always been Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter. I followed Ace all through his solo years. I've always supported him. I've met him a couple times. I got his autograph. But they're just people. And as a child, they weren't. They were superheroes that played music. It was amazing. It was a great time to grow up if you were a kid and you embraced Kiss, because it was almost like something for yourself. Some of the older kids didn't appreciate it. It really wasn't for them. But I never got any slack for it. I've heard of stories where people got beaten up for listening to them, or I never experienced any of that. But again, I live my life the way I want to live it, and I don't really live it for other people. And that's kind of how Kiss was, and it seems they keep saying they're doing all this for the fans, but it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I'm not in that experience. I'm not in that world where I would know how they feel, but it's hard to see the live video clips of them now and go, yeah, that's the Kiss I grew up with. If you can do it, more power to you. I have a very hard time with it. But that being said, Kiss, one of the biggest influences in my music. I definitely hear it in my guitar playing. I'm not a guitarist, but I definitely hear that Ace tone and kind of style. I'm a terrible guitarist. Ace has always been sloppy. I don't put him, he's not the greatest guitarist in the world, but it was the character and his honesty in the guitar, and it still comes across to this day. He's certainly no virtuoso, but he was rock and roll to me, and Kiss was a big part of that. So this is going to be the first group in this little series that I'm going to put out about my musical DNA. So I think here's some homework. Search your soul. Search your music and look at your musical DNA. It's what you've been fed from being a little kid. I've always had pop music in there and my music, which was always heavier, so I've never been one to shut other music out. There's definitely times where I'm a little more one than the other, but music is music. Some days I want to hear something really sad. Some days I want to hear something really happy. Some days I want to just hear some music, and some days I want to hear a soundscape. So, again, dig through your musical DNA. See if you're seeing those early influences in your music today, or what you're doing now, or what you're listening to. Do you still listen to the bands that you grew up with? I visit every once in a while, but I listen to mostly new music, and I listen to my music because it takes a long time to get the recording thing down, and I'm loving every minute of it. But I do spend more time listening to my music with the mixing and the production part of it than sitting down and listening to other bands at this point. So, that being said, go listen to the music you love. I'm going to listen to the music I love, and we can all make some great music. And that's really what we're here for. So I'll see you on the next episode.